Cobra Kai is moving to Netflix for its third season, continuing to settle the score between Karate Kid rivals Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso. Let's head into the dojo and meditate on the most clever and easy-to-miss references and Easter eggs hiding in the series' first 2 seasons. The Karate Kid is a classic movie of the 1980s. Beyond the main story of a spirited underdog overcoming the odds to vanquish his better-prepared opponent, there's a strong through line of class warfare. As in other classics from the era like Pretty in Pink or Some Kind of Wonderful, the rich kids are needlessly and endlessly cruel to the kids from families with less money. True to form, Johnny comes from money and lives in a nice area, and he's harsh to and dismissive of Daniel right away because this new kid in town and son of a single mother lives in a small, inexpensive apartment in the less exclusive town of Reseda. When Cobra Kai picks up the story more than 30 years on, the situation has reversed. Daniel owns a chain of car dealerships and has a lot of money in the bank. Johnny, on the other hand, is divorced, barely getting by, and lives in a tiny, nondescript apartment building in a not fancy neighborhood. Viewers may not notice that Johnny's complex is called Reseda Heights, meaning he lives almost exactly where Daniel once did. At the end of the 1984 classic, Johnny, the villain of the piece, ends the big match face down on a gym mat, thoroughly defeated by Daniel at the All-Valley Karate Tournament. To set up how Cobra Kai examines the world of California dojo karate from the point of view of Johnny, it opens up with a shot to let the world know exactly where it's starting from, philosophically speaking, with Johnny face down on a messy bed, beaten not by Daniel, but by the harsh travails of a disappointing life over the past 30 years. The fate of one Cobra Kai character is tragic and sad, but it also provided the series writers with a chance to make an extremely subtle nod to a famous line from the original Karate Kid movie, and which makes it ghoulishly prophetic in the process. It was a real coup for Cobra Kai to get actor Rob Garrison to make an appearance on the show in 2019, seeing as how he'd retired from acting and had only appeared in one other project in nearly 25 years. He reprised his role as Tommy, one of Johnny Lawrence's Cobra Kai friends and fellow bullies from the Karate Kid. In Cobra Kai, Tommy is dying, and he has one last day of drinking, riding motorcycles, and camping with his friends before passing away in his sleep. That at least completed his character's unresolved arc after so many years. The last viewers see of Tommy is when his lifeless corpse is zipped into a body bag. That's a reference to the first Karate Kid, when Johnny fights in the climactic All-Valley Karate Tournament, when Tommy roots on his compatriot who is thoroughly putting a beatdown on Daniel.
So you okay? Can you go on?
Sadly, the real-life Garrison died just a few months after his Cobra Kai appearance, making it extra touching that he returned to the franchise decades later for such a silly and yes, morbid joke. In the first season episode of Cobra Kai Never Dies, Daniel LaRusso makes breakfast for his kids, proudly and enthusiastically whipping up a sugary concoction of batter, fruit, and chocolate chips he calls Bananarama pancakes. That's a cute bit of goofy dad wordplay, but it also alludes to a music cue from the first Karate Kid movie. The movie came out in 1984, during the brief period of time when English vocal group Bananarama was extremely popular in the United States. One of the trio's biggest hits was Cruel Summer, which is also a song that soundtracks Daniel's first bicycle ride to his new school in The Karate Kid. The synth-pop classic doesn't actually appear on the film's official soundtrack, so that's an Easter egg just for fans extremely familiar with the movie itself. The song is so associated with The Karate Kid that a cover of the tune showed up in a second season episode of Cobra Kai during a similar establishing shot of a bustling day at school. The Karate Kid spawned a hefty film and television universe. Many of the entries were largely forgotten by the time the first season of Cobra Kai reached a paying audience on YouTube, such as the ill-fated 1994 reboot starring Hilary Swank, the 2010 remake starring Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, and the 1989 animated The Karate Kid television series. But the circumstances of Cobra Kai are to be interpreted to their logical but extreme end. There's another film series that could be considered a part of the Karate Kid extended universe. In Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence is divorced from his former wife Shannon, the mother of his son Robbie. In the 2010 movie Hot Tub Time Machine, which is partially set in the 1980s, Cobra Kai star William Zabka plays a guy named Rick, and Diora Baird plays his wife. Baird portrays Shannon on Cobra Kai, implying that they're the same couple, and that things obviously ended badly at some point.
Oh, really? One more bet.
No, Ricky, come on. You said one more and then you'd be done.
I also said to shut the f*** up. Remember that?
Pulpo, the second-to-last episode of Season 2 of Cobra Kai, includes the unlikely sight of longtime enemies Johnny and Daniel on a double date together, albeit reluctantly. They do have a bit of fun when they recount their long and violent rivalry. They also pinpoint the weird moment when it might have all began.
You smeared a blueberry pie on my shirt.
That's because you put it on my chair first. No. He's leaving out the details.
Speaking of leaving out the details, this inciting act of aggression may strike even the biggest Karate Kid fans as unfamiliar. And surprisingly, there's a good reason for that. Johnny and Daniel beginning a war over blueberry pie was scripted, but didn't make it into the final cut of the movie. In 2012, Karate Kid director John Avildsen posted a bunch of behind-the-scenes footage to YouTube, including one of actors Ralph Macchio and William Zabka rehearsing a scene of Daniel and Johnny attempting to humiliate each other with the help of a little dessert.
You take his pie, and you get up.
Many of the major cast members of the original The Karate Kid movies from the 1980s show up for at least a cursory cameo at some point in the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai. Martin Kove even shows up as the presumed dead Kreese to bother and motivate Johnny, and Randy Handler recurs as Daniel's mother, Lucille LaRusso. One notable omission, at least in the first 2 seasons, Elizabeth Shue, and her character Allie Mills is nowhere to be found, apparently not ready to reprise her role as a love interest and source of tension between her ex-boyfriend Johnny and his rival Daniel. Last mentioned as having left Daniel for a UCLA football player in The Karate Kid Part 2, Allie may not appear in the first 2 seasons of Cobra Kai, but her presence is strongly felt throughout. Daniel and Johnny explain and dissect their love triangle from long ago, and Daniel lets slip that Allie became a pediatric surgeon and moved to Denver with her oncologist husband, all of which she ascertained from a little Facebook snooping. One of the final shots of Season 2 shows the screen of Johnny's angrily discarded phone, displaying a friend request from one Allie Mills Schwarber. Shue does appear briefly on camera in the form of a photo taken in the 80s. It sits in the trophy case at Johnny's old high school, for some reason. Los Angeles is a massive city with countless entertainment options, and yet the young people of the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai universe seem to only ever patronize one family entertainment establishment, both back in the 80s and today. In The Karate Kid, Daniel takes Allie on a sweet and innocent first date to Golf and Stuff, an actual putt-putt course and gaming arcade located in Norwalk, California. There they engage in wholesome activities like air hockey, bumper boats, bumper cars, and drinking soda pop. Viewers learn from Cobra Kai that Johnny also took Allie on their first date to Golf and Stuff, kicking off their 2-year romance in high school, making it extra harsh in retrospect that Allie and Daniel went there too. Golf and Stuff then shows up for real when karate student Miguel takes out Daniel's daughter Samantha for an evening of fun. The 9th episode of the first season of Cobra Kai is titled Different But Same, a clue into how the episode finds once and again enemies Johnny and Daniel reconnecting over the many things they turned out to have in common.
Look good together. Different but same.
For example, a bout of beer-soaked reminiscing reveals that both men aren't totally over Allie Mills, who Daniel dated in high school after she broke up with Johnny, and who Johnny still thinks that Daniel moved in on. Similarly, different but same is how in the previous episode, Molting, Miguel, a Cobra Kai trainee, spies Johnny's son, Robbie, getting along a little too well with his girlfriend Sam, who also happens to be Daniel's daughter. In that same episode, a group led by Daniel's ne'er-do-well cousin sets Johnny's car on fire, and he blames Daniel. What could be a very violent situation is ultimately diffused by Daniel's wife, Amanda, who suggests her husband hand over, free of charge, a car of Johnny's selection from one of the many lots owned by their LaRusso Auto Group.
Thought you sold Porsches.
Yeah, right. In your dreams.
Daniel escorts Johnny to a dealership full of selections and instructs, choose. That's the same simple line delivered in the same simple way that Mr. Miyagi offered Daniel a car as a birthday present back in The Karate Kid. In the years since the events of the original Karate Kid movies took place, Daniel LaRusso has done quite well for himself. He's married to Amanda with 2 kids, Samantha and Anthony, and he owns and operates LaRusso Auto Group, a successful chain of suburban Los Angeles car dealerships. But he hasn't completely forgotten karate, which was an important and formative part of his youth. The former All-Valley karate champion uses the martial art as a recurring bit in TV commercials for his car lots, literally karate chopping high prices and promising to kick the competition. These air on local television all the time, where the jealous and resentful Johnny Lawrence sees them and finds them to be extremely corny. He isn't wrong. However, Johnny soon comes to realize the power and importance of branding when he makes a TV commercial for his new and improved Cobra Kai dojo. Well, he doesn't do it. He's proudly not the least bit tech-savvy, but he recruits karate student Aisha Robinson to put the spot together. He does have one suggestion: to place the Cobra Kai logo at the end, rendered in chrome so that it impressively pops off the screen. We don't see the finished result, but we have a good idea of what Johnny's getting at. Where have Cobra Kai viewers previously seen a chrome Cobra Kai logo that pops off the screen? At the end of every episode of Cobra Kai, that's where.